Boy, I just had to Asmongold something. I really feel like I've successfully Asmongolded an aspect of my thinking. And because I appreciate that Asmongold. Oh, that's fascinating. You guys took down the name of this practice. That's so weird. Why would you take the signage down when the whole building is one medical? Okay. Every day, something's getting worse. Yeah. Your lobby is filled with excess furniture. Every day, it's getting a little worse. Anyway. Yeah. That's two pieces. Yeah, that's two pieces of signage. Either they're redesigning the signage, or Oregon Medical Group is abandoning the building that they're at. Which, I mean, I guess there's better places for them. I'm sure there's probably, that's probably what it is. See, I have to Asmongold. Well, don't people live all over the place around here? And there's probably a lot of people moving out of buildings. So they probably are getting better rent someplace else. That would, it'd be just as easy for people to get to by car. And it's like, actually, no. See, I'm Asmongolding. Like, really, just think, how does, you're angry the puzzle doesn't work the way you want it to work. Maybe the puzzle works a different way. Have you thought that maybe the puzzle works the way the puzzle works rather than the way you want it to work? That's my Asmongolding of my own mind. Don't be Asmon-copper. Don't be Asmon-tin. Be Asmongold. This is so silly. I wonder if somebody's going to clip it and send it to them. But what it was is that I was sitting back, and every once in a while I'll say something kind of fucked up about the liberal tradition, and I'll be like, it's just a strategy. Oh, did you put caramel in here? Yeah. Life's hard. Why is life hard? Actually, I gotta admit, I'm about to get dumped on. It's gonna be way rainier than I'm thinking. I need to take a different route. Asmongold made me, I was sitting back and I'm like, yeah, I will sometimes shit on liberalism as well. It was developed by, various European groups that it suited their genetic success. Now, I started to realize, and so therefore, it's carried on in this way. Then I sat back and I'm like, wait. No. Asmongold it. Maybe this puzzle works the way it works rather than the way I want it to work. And the reason I was saying this was because I was like, no, the liberal tradition this is why you now have these males saying they're females, that at some level where that's twisted, the twisted evolution, the twisted part of evolution, the dark part of evolution, if they command society, if such men have overwhelming power in society for some reason, then they can decide who mates with whom. So really, it's a system that if you exploit the liberal system, that you should have an open mind about things. You need to investigate things thoroughly, find like really, what is the prima causa and stuff like that. So I was like really starting to like walk through it, and I'm like, yeah, it's just how people exploit a system. It's just that we who are in liberalism don't think of it as a system that is easily exploitable. When we think of like Russia, like most Americans are really unbelievably dense when it comes to Russia, because they think something about Russia is strange, where it's like, no, humans run countries that way. America just happens to be a place that we have had this kind of wild-eyed set of ideas called liberalism that has sort of kept us from acting like that. Sort of. At different times, there will be somebody who kind of gets to be the power group. But the thing is, it's just that it's so difficult. You require because of having only two parties, you actually require people to make a lot of sacrifices of what they desire. Rather than coalition parliament governments that kind of never get anything done other than pushing out whoever's the unpopular kid or the unpopular bunch, and that those systems can punish people for existing for the forever. I mean, all you need is the coalition. A coalition government is Israel is a coalition government, and there's Palestinian parties in their government. And look how it's working out. You couldn't have something like that and still have our two-party system in the United States. But back to the lecture at hand. I thought that was one of the weakest rhyme lines ever. God, some lines from early Snoop Dogg and early like that early Death Row are pretty whack. There's some pretty seriously whack lines, like, but yeah, well, he's still Snoop, so had some of the dopest shit ever in the genre. Anyway, so I started Asmongold it, and I'm like, no, this isn't a system that, because liberalism is a thing that white women who with these defective sons, who are just, that are on brain drugs, they don't know what their genitals are, they are insane. They're kind of insane. And often now, more and more, you're seeing physically diminutive. You're seeing these men who are barely taller than their own mothers in full adulthood. Because now I'm like old enough that I'm like, no. I know how old you must be. Like, you are hella tiny. You are a small guy. Like, if that's your mother, then you are a relatively small man. And that you don't, you see a lot of men trudging around with their mothers in this part of the country where the people try to burn down federal buildings. So, and then everybody acts like, what? What do you mean there's rioting? What? What do you mean we kind of deserve what we voted for? What? So, this idea isn't that, oh no, these women are trying to get society to provide for, in some way, their defective sons. It is that. Then it is also, not only my kids aren't broken kind of mentality, which then is I'm not broken because my kids aren't broken. But beyond that, it's also this thing. I started to sit back and I'm like, no, these guys are bullying women. That's what this really is. They're able to bully women and intimidate them, and force women to get, force young athletic women. Holy crap! Wow, this is fucked up. Okay, force young athletic women to undress in front of them, and now this has all been revealed by a lot of these people, that they're like, no, really, this organization made it such this person absolutely had to be in the locker room with us, yada yada yada, and and so it's to humiliate what would be the normal middle class girls. And then so I'm like, oh yeah, so there we go. They have power over them. This group that really evolutionarily speaking, when you get to the sexual market value, when you look at who in the long run wins, Becky wins. The black girls say it. Everybody says it. Even there's even angry Asian women, American-born Asian women who are good-looking that still are furious that for some reason, like, white women end up not choosing poorly when they choose mates. So they end up doing okay for themselves by the time they die. This really angers them. Even though most Asian communities are insular and rarely marry outside of the same ethnicity or generally the race. Like the three Han of East Asia, you know. And, oh yeah, go for it. Go for it. You got it. You got it. You got it. Okay. Thanks. I thought he was going to pull the turn, but he's probably got a camera on his truck, so he's not allowed to do that. I always feel for those guys where they get to a full stop and it's like, you could have just glided right through that turn, and it's like, but no, he's got to ride safe. You know, he's got the boss watching him. Yeah, from a different time. Whip it, buddy, whip it. Yeah, there's no traffic, whip it. So, I was being a little too obtuse. I was, that really, what it is that who can exploit the general liberal kind of mentality. And a lot of this has to do with, like, no, really hearing people out. And, you know, like, what are they honestly saying? What do they honestly believe? Oh, that's what those apartments are built like. Okay. Oh, that makes a lot more sense now. Okay. Huh. All right. Well, and, you know, what do they have to say? Hearing people out, giving them the benefit of the doubt, really approaching it as, you know, I would have to be able to kind of prove if this person was wrong, or trying to, lead me down the garden path or something like that. So I started really, okay. No, what it is that when people counter with rational arguments about, you're just a man in a dress, these people break into violence, and they counter with arguments that are ascientific arguments. They're definitively not accurate, and definitively often. This is beyond not being science. Let me just put it that way. That this has come up a number of times. I've been finding out, like, oh, okay, no. You all go to this argument about this, that, or the other. That's not what we're talking about. Those are completely different categories. You're arguing apples and Hondas. Okay, got it. And that's consistent. This is absolutely consistent. So I'm like, yeah, because it isn't a rational argument anymore. It's really emotional and based on really being inaccurate, going out of one's way to be inaccurate. That's like, oh, okay, no, you're trying to be deceptive. This is just about power. And it's what in evolution one would have power over in a human group, and that's who reproduces with who. And so therefore the clan and kith and kin relationships that judge the distribution of resources, because that's we share mostly with our kith and kin, not strangers. And so so I was just thinking about this, like, just rolling this around, I just rolling that around because I was thinking, because it really hit me. I was like, no, you've simplified this a little too much. You become a little too brusque, And with that, polish your mind until it is golden, Asmund Golden. I just love his sense of humor. I think he's a funny dude. All right, later.